ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतस्य सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगणा मुनिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरत्से नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you for the fourth canto discussion. So we started 2 years back in April, and now first three cantos are over, and we'll be starting with the fourth canto. All the assessments, presentations, open book, closed book still are pending, but as the BVRB, as Protocol Negation improve, don't stop, continue the syllabus. Let the students, it's students' responsibility to complete their assessments. Whoever completes assessment will give them Bhakti Vaibhava certificate, and whoever is taking more time at their own pace, they'll get it. So, beginning of third canto, end of third canto, we'll just share this. Um, what is it? PPT. So, third canto, 21st chapter. Yes. So, Vidura is requesting in the third canto, 21st chapter, 1 to 5. Please speak about Swayambhu's dynasty. So, Swayambhu has three daughters and two sons. Out of that, second daughter, I mean, Devuti's discussion has happened in Akuti and Prasuti. So, Devuti discussion we have seen, Uttanavat Priyavrat, and we have seen this Devuti discussion. third canto. First chapter to fourth canto, first chapter. Basically, Varadev is killed. Varadev kills Hiranyaksha, and then Swayambhu is waiting for the tapas. He is waiting for the Bhumandala to create the progeny, and then Kapil Shiksha. Then adverse activities of the living entity 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, which Keshan have proved to class 10. So that is teachings of Lord Kapila from 25 to 33. His lineage comes in fourth canto, first chapter. Basically, fourth canto begins with this. This is the same theme. Sarga, Visarga. So there, in the third canto, only the Kapil Siksha is given. And just it's mentioned that Devuti gave birth to 9 daughters and Kapil Dev. And Kapil Siksha started. So Sarga is mentioned in third canto. The fourth canto, first chapter onwards, the Visarga will be continued. Visarga is secondary creation by Brahma. So Akuti's lineage will be mentioned in the fourth canto, first chapter. Then Prasuti, fourth canto, first chapter to seventh chapter. In that second chapter to seventh chapter is Daksha Yukya. Because Prasuti is married to Daksha. And Akuti is married to Ruchi. Prajapati Ruchi. Devuti is already married to Gardhan Muni. So regarding the two sons, Uttanapad and Priyavrat, 8th chapter to 31st chapter, 8 to 12, Dhruva Maharaj. After that, 9, after 13, 14 onwards, Kutu Maharaj section comes. Then Prachin Parishad, his analogies, Narad Muni sharing with him analogy, Puranjan section, all those things. And ends with Pracheta's prayers, Lord Shiva giving them Rudra Geet. It ends with that in 31st chapter. So the whole fourth canto, we are going to discuss about Akuti, Devuti's remaining 9 daughters, Prasuti, Uttanapad's descendants. And Priyavrat's descendants will come in 5th canto, first chapter to 15th chapter. Basically, Nagi section, Rishabdev section, Bharat, and Gaya, and all those things. So therefore, this is the connection. First, second canto is a prelude. First canto is a prelude of Bhagavatam. Second canto is a description of 10 sections of Bhagavatam. Trisarga, Visarga, Sanam, Poshanam, Utaya, Manvantara, Ishanugata, Nirodha Mukti Rashraya. So that second canto, and Brahma pleases Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu gives him Chatushloki. And then third canto begins with Sarga, with Vidura and Maitri section. 3, 9, third canto, 9 chapter is Brahma. Sarga starts. So Visarga starts with the fourth canto, first chapter. The lineage is all this. So in one's daughter, they get married to different Prajapatis, and they spread the whole with the offsprings. So this theme will go till 5th canto, first to 15th chapter. 15th chapter will go on. All these descendants of Swayambhu. Yes, this is what I was saying. Meeting of Vidura and Uddhava, Sarga, 3, 5 to 11. Different elements, Visarga, 3, 11, 12, 20, Brahma's creation, Rudra's 21 to 5, 15 creation by Swayambhu. Visarga, both comes. Sthanam, so 16 to 26, Sthanam. So as a part of Bhakti Vaibhava, we'll cover Sthanam and then Poshanam, 6th canto also, how the Lord protects his devotee. So basically, we are going to now discuss about the first, 4th canto, first chapter. First 7 verses will speak about the genealogical line of Akuti. 10 to 47, Devuti's 9 daughters, whom they got married to, and who were the offspring's name. And then at the end, 48 to 66, we are going to speak about the genealogical line of Prasuti. So this is basically, it's a storyline type. They got married to them, they got produced offsprings here. It's a history. So now we will go to the Bhaktivedanta purports. the Veda is. So now we are here, fourth canto, first chapter, seeing where is the flow, where is the connection. So basically, Visarga. Swayambhu is assisting Brahmaji in his Visarga. So Maitri Vacha Manastu Shatarupayam Tishra Kanyashcha Jasmire Akutir Devutischa Prasutir iti Vishruta. So this word cha is very important. Tu and cha. Manastu Shatarupayam Tishra Kanyashcha Jasmire. So and again, Acharyas are going to comment on these two words down. We'll read in the purport. Sri Maitreya said Swayambhu Manu begot three daughters in his wife Shatarupa, and their names were Akuti, Devuti, Prasuti. So this is Chakravarti Path's commentary, but Prabhupada exactly takes Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary. Therefore, we'll directly go to Prabhupada's commentary as it is. Yeah. Some devotee can volunteer to read.
I can read, Prabhuji. Purport. First of all, let us offer our respective obeisances unto spiritual master, Om Vishnupad, Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, by whose order I am engaged in the Herculean task of writing commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam as the Bhakti Vedanta purports. By his grace, we have finished 3 cantos already, and we are just trying to begin the 4th canto. By his divine grace, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto Lord Chaitanya, who began this Krishna consciousness movement of Bhagavad Dharma 500 years ago. Through his grace, let us offer our obeisances to the 6 Goswamis, and then let us offer our obeisances to Radha and Krishna, the spiritual couple who enjoy eternally in Vrindavan with their cowherd boys and damsels in Vrajabhumi. Let us also offer our respectful obeisances to all the devotees and eternal servitors of the Supreme Lord. In this 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 31 chapters, and all these chapters describe the secondary creation by Brahma and the Manus. The Supreme Lord himself does the real creation by agitating his material energy, and then by his order, Brahma, the first living creature in the universe, attempts to create the different planetary systems and their inhabitants, expanding the population through his progeny, like Manu and other progenitors of living entities who work perpetually under the order of the Supreme Lord. In the first chapter of this 4th canto, there are descriptions of the 3 daughters of Swayambhuva Manu and their descendants. The next 6 chapters describe the sacrifice performed by King Daksha and how it was spoilt. Thereafter, the activities of Maharaj Dhruva are described in 5 chapters. Then, in 11 chapters, the activities of King Pruthu are described, and the next 8 chapters are devoted to the activities of the Pracheta kings. As described in the first verse of this chapter, Swayambhu Manu had 3 daughters named Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. One of these daughters, of these 3 daughters, one daughter, Devahuti, has already been described along with her husband Kardama Muni and her son Kapila Muni. In this chapter, the descendants of the first daughter, Akuti, will specifically be described. Swayambhuva Manu was the son of Brahma. Brahma had many other sons, but Manu's name is specifically mentioned first because he was a great devotee of the Lord. In this verse, there is also the word cha, indicating that besides 3 daughters mentioned, Swayambhuva Manu also had 2 sons.
First indicate that Swayambhu Manu is a great devotee of the Lord. Second thing, is not only 3 daughters, but also he has 2 sons apart from these 3 daughters. So exactly this is like Chakravarti's commentary. To see carefully, he also starts with the same thing, offering respect to Sri Guru, to Krishna, the ocean of mercy. I take shelter of Sri Shuka, then covered man and woman of Vrindavan and service to of his dear devotees. Same thing, 4th canto Visarga, Brahma, Manu, 6 chapters, 7 chapters, 8 chapters, 11 chapters. And first chapter is the same thing. See carefully, exactly Prabhupada takes directly Vishnu Chakravarti's commentary. Akutim ruchaye pradat, api brat dramatim rupa, putrika dharmamashritya, shatarupa anumodita. Yes. Next to it. You want to continue to? Yes.
Yes, Guruji, I can continue.
Yeah, I can. You can read 5 verses. You will read
Yes.
them. Yes.
Akuti had 2 brothers, but in spite of her brothers, King Swayambhuva Manu handed her over to Prajapati Ruchi on the condition that the son born of her be returned to Manu as his son. This he did in consultation with his wife Shatarupa.
So in this case, if you see the shloka carefully, Akutim Ruchaya Pradat. So Akuti, Ruchaya, he is a very great sage. Pradat, he handed over. So he handed over Akutim to Ruchi, Prajapati Ruchi. Api Bratra Matin Rapa. Although Bratra means Akuti had brother. Swayambhu had daughter Akuti, Devuti, Prasuti, and Akuti were having brother. Akuti had brothers. Why it is written Api Bratra Matim Rapa? She had brothers, so her father had no tension that he will get sons or daughters or not, his lineage will go or not. But in the next thing, Putrika Dharmam Ashritya. Although he had brothers, Akuti had brothers, that means Swayambhu had sons, he put a condition while giving Akuti to Prajapati Ruchi that the son born of Akuti will be my son. That is called Putrika Dharma, according to Vedas. And this he did it with Shatarupa Anumodita, consultation with his wife. Why so? Chakravarti mentions Swayambhu was, he knew, he was omniscient, he knew omniscience, and because of that he was knowing that Akuti's son Vishnu will be born as Yajna. And she also be having daughter expansion of Lakshmi. And therefore, Swayambhu wanted, he had a grandson as Kapila, but he desired also that I should also have a son. Although this Yajna is a grandson, but by Putrika Dharma is a dharma where a father who has only daughters but who has no sons, when he hands over the daughter, he tells to the son-in-law, the son born of my daughter will be my son. That is the meaning of Putrika Dharma. So that is what is mentioned here. So Prabhupada writes the same thing in the purport. Yes, please do.
So, Prabhuji, can we say that because he was Lord's expansion, that's why he wanted him as son, although he had other sons.
Yeah, he was an incarnation because he had grandson who was incarnation of Lord. Also, he desired that he should have Lord as his son. Therefore, he Putrika Dharma. That is what Prabhupada is writing in his purport.
Sometimes a sonless person offers his daughter to a husband on the condition that his grandson be returned to him to be adopted as his son and inherit his property. This is called Putrika Dharma, which means that by execution of religious rituals, one gets a son, although one is sonless by one's own wife. But Here we see extraordinary behavior in Manu. For in spite of having his two sons, he handed over his first daughter to Prajapati Ruchi on the condition that the son born of his daughter be returned to him as his son. Srila Viswas Chakravarti Thakur comments in this connection that King Manu knew that the Supreme Personality of Godhead take birth from the womb of Akuti. Therefore, in spite of having two sons, he wanted the particular son, one of Akuti, because he was ambitious to have the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear as his son and grandson. Manu is the lawgiver of mankind since he personally executed the Putrika Dharma. We may accept that such a system may be adopted by mankind also. Thus, even though one has a son, if one wants to have a particular son from one's daughter, one may give one's daughter in charity on that condition. That is the opinion of Srila Jiva Goswami.
Yes. The next verse. Prajapati sa Bhagavan ruchistasyan ajijjana mitunam brahma varchasvi paramena samadina. So why Lord is going to appear? Yes, Vishnu.
Prabhu, is it audible, Prabhu?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So first of all, thank you to all the devotees who accommodate me, although I have joined in from between. Thanks to Ramkishore Prabhu also.
Welcome, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Prabhu, like you said in this connection, this is an exceptional case or extraordinary case. We see in the life of this Bharat Maharaj also, from whom actually this Pandavas and later everyone came. So there also I heard that in one of the genealogical condition, there was one king who didn't have a son, and therefore this lineage was supposed to be like die or something like that. So they took one person from a common community and installed him as king, and later on, then his son continued the same genealogy. Is it correct, Prabhu?
It comes in 9th canto.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like this, it happens, like extraordinary cases when there is no son of the kin, then they take a common man. Like here, it is daughter given to someone, but sometimes they take a common man and then their son is born, and still it is considered as from that dynasty.
Yes. Again, like here, Swami Manu is because of his omniscience, he is able to see that Lord is appearing. So not any common person is taken. His all the nimittas are seen. There are certain parameters, lakshanas. The sages who are the advisories, they observe it. And like there are different science. We have chemistry, maths, biology. Similarly, the Vedas have 64 arts which Lord Krishna studied in Gurukul of Sandipamani. And there, in that there is Nimitta Gyan, then there is art of foretelling, there is art of their astrology, there are many things. So based on Lakshanas, based on that, they find out. So that is one case. Another case is fourth canto, it was going to come, 13th chapter, 14th chapter. Prutu Maharaj is born from his father's body. Then, so yes, daughter son is taken, the churn from the body of father. Sages, because it's sages who take over the control and then they.
Perfect, Prabhu. Thank you.
Prajapati sa Bhagavan Ruchitasya Maji Janat Mitunam Brahma Varchasvi Paramena Samadhina. Yes.
Ruchi, who was very powerful in his Brahmanical qualification and was appointed one of the progenitors of the living entities, begot one son and one daughter by his wife Akuti.
Mitunam. Mitunam matlab twins. In our 12 Rashis, we have Mithun Rashi. Gemini. That is twins. One boy, one girl. So Ruchi got one boy, one son, and one daughter. One was expansion of Lakshmi and one was expansion of Lord Vishnu himself. So Prabhupada is going to elaborate on it. So eternal consent appeared from the womb of the same mother. So Prabhupada highlights in this Brahma Varchasvi. This is a very important thing. Why Lord appeared? What was that speciality of Ruchi, Prajapati Ruchi? And what is Brahma Varchasvi? Who is like is rigidly following the Brahminical standards. And we also see so many Brahmanas born in a family of Brahmanas, but they don't follow the principles. They're called Dvijabantus. So that is what Prabhupada highlights in his first part of the purport. And then he ends the purport with, again, the Ruchi was Brahma Varchasvi, and therefore, based on that strength, he could attract the Lord. We'll go to the next verse. So the main theme of that third verse is Brahma Varchasvi, Shama, Tapa, Saucham, all those things, Brahminical qualities, which speaks about third part of the Bhagavad Gita, which speaks 13 to 18 chapters, especially 16, 17 chapter speaks about this. What are the qualifications of the Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Shudra? So these qualities he followed. We can read this part too. Last part of this. Yes. This is very important. All our Bhakti Vaibhava candidates. So Prabhupada writes something here. So basically, in our institution, once you finish Bhakti Shastri, then you become Brahman initiated, and then after that comes Bhakti Vaibhava. Prabhupada writes something for all of us. Yes, please read.
The Vedic literatures cannot be understood unless one has developed the Brahmanical qualifications. It is regrettable, therefore, that persons who have no Brahmanical qualifications and have never been trained under a bona fide spiritual master, nevertheless comment on Vedic literatures like the Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas. For such persons cannot deliver their real message. Ruchi was considered a first-class Brahmana. Therefore, he is mentioned here as Brahma Varchasvi, one who has full prowess in Brahmanical strength.
On the other hand, Prabhupada mentions here about Brahma Bandhu, Dvija Bandhu. Yeah. Can read this.
One who is born of a Brahmana father but does not act as a Brahmana is called in Vedic language a Brahma Bandhu and is calculated to be on the level of Shudras and women. Thus, in the Bhagavatam, we find that Mahabharata was specifically compiled by Vasudev for Stri Shudra Brahma Bandhu. Stri means women, Shudra means the lower class of civilized human society, and Brahma Bandhu means persons who are born the families of Brahmanas but do not follow the rules and regulations carefully.
Basically, this categorization is for a generic Vedic paradigm, but when it comes to Daivi Varnashram, yes, Prabhu, Suryakant Krishna, you raised hand. Please.
Well, Prabhu, so I have a question. So when we say four varnas like Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, so does it mean is it applicable to woman also, or woman just if she's married to a Brahmana, she's called a Brahmani, or if she's married to Kshatriya, she's called Kshatrani? It's not based on their guna and karma, or it's based just only to marriage. How is it done?
No. If you want, yeah. Yes. If you see from Vedic paradigm or Daivi Vash, whether if we see from the Vedic Varnashram or from Daivi Varnashram, generally Gurukul training, male, yeah, sons, yeah. Then who goes to Gurukul? Matajis are never sent to Gurukul. Mataji are trained by their mothers. And sons are sent to Gurukul. And their varnas are observed. And based on the varnas, they are given engagement. And then they are married. And because mother also knows how to train the daughter. And based on that, in the same, that time the caste system was based on the varna, guna karma. And then they were married. And there's some sections come where Anulom, Pratilom in 9th canto, where Devyani and Sarmishta with that is coming on. So that was based on a the caste is in such a way that they are Brahmanical. The daughter is also Brahmanical because she is following the Varna, Guna, and Karma by that. So
Okay.
that is how Vedas actually describe it. So the way Prabhupada has done it, it was revolutionary because it was Daivi Varnashram. He gave one Brahman Diksha to even Matajis. Because it's a preaching mission. It is a need of the heart. And therefore, in our movement, we have this Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava. Prabhupada gave all options. Anyone can do it. Therefore, that basically I want to touch that point only. This three Shudra,
Okay.
Brahma Bandhu, from Vedic tradition, they are meant to take care of services and assist their mother and get trained in them, and when they come out, do that. But what in CVC and Daivi Varnashram, they also have got that place where, because this is Vedic Varnashram is based on body understanding.
Mhm.
Modes are given a lot of importance. If you see, even the renunciation of impersonalism, Vedic, if the person fails in his renunciation, he is doomed to go to hell. But a bhakta,
Okay.
the devotee, even he slips and he falls because of some reason, he is having no loss. Taktva sudharmam charanam bhujam hare. So therefore, the most important part is devotion. So what Prabhupada highlighted is that devotion, everybody has a right. And we are not reading Vedic scriptures. We are not reading Vedas, Shruti mantras. We are reading direct Krishna conscious knowledge. So this is bhakti. That is the reason when Prabhupada gave Diksha, so he allowed this for.
Okay. Okay, bro. Raoji, can we say that the Daivi Varnashram is directly connected to Krishna, and the ultimate aim of pure devotional service is very much highlighted. That is why these some regulations are loosened. Can we say like that?
It's not loosened.
Or
The purpose of Varnashram is Ata Bhambir Dvateshta Varnashrama Vibhagasa Samshiddhim Haritoshanam. The purpose of them is also Haritoshanam only, but there they offer their occupations for the pleasure of Lord Hari. And Devi Varnashram, what happens is a person practices also and he offers his results also.
both are done.
Both are done. So he's given Diksha in yes, bro.
No, please continue. You complete your point.
So the Varnashram aspect in Vedic tradition, Varnashram aspect in modern tradition, still what we call as Devi Varnashram, like when I hear from Bhakti Raghav Maharaj or Venugopal and other things, it's also based on training. They come to the point of Varnashram colleges. Because when I hear from them, they quote that Prabhupada told 50% of the work is remaining, and who will do that? That also needs training. We have to educate and train. We open Varnashram colleges. Every temple should have Varnashram college where a person inclination, somebody by default, you give him or not give him, he want to read Shastras. Person by default, he want to do administration. His nourishment comes from administration, even his standing. And somebody's nourishment is he wants to do some seva, he'll fund collection. And somebody's nourishment comes, he's ready to do anything. What is told. So we chant also at the same time. What happens is pure devotional service, which we speak about. We are not engaged 24/7. We are doing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. And because of that, we are trying to practice Bhakti with impure mind and senses. So that we chant to morning to us, we have morning program, and the rest of the day we have our Swabhava. So to engage that Swabhava without falling prey to senses, we need Daivi Varnashram. Asuri, normal Varnashram is Swabhava takes the main seat. Daivi Varnashram means you take Diksha. Some will practice 16 rounds, some of them will not be able to come to that level. So there is hierarchy, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, and based on those people who are not able to come to that level, they are engaged according to their propensities. Like people, like our devotees can't go and do farming. But the village people who are there, they can easily do farming. So educate them. We can't expect them to come to 16 rounds, all of them. Some of them may come. But majority of them, they can give the fruits of their service in Krishna's, fruit of their work in Krishna's service. So it's like not, it's in work in progress, Devi Varnashram is called. But the principle is this. So we are not at a level of somebody Shuddha Bhakta is beyond Varnashram. There's no question of any Varna. But somebody is not like most of the sadhakas. Then comes their Swabhava and then comes their engagement. There it plays a vital role.
Thank you, Manish.
Can I ask something? So you wonderfully explained with many points regarding this women also and regarding this Devi Varnashram system also. So one point I'm just remembering that in the Vedic system, women would never get initiation because they will following their husband, and whatever the husband destination, the women will naturally get. But if we see in Kali Yuga, the men are themselves not very competent. So that sense, they have women. If they depend too much, that's also not becoming ideal, and therefore Prabhupada, I think, gave initiations to women also. So can we see from that aspect also?
Actually, how it is, yeah. Basically, when we see the way ISKCON opened in Miracles in Second Avenue book, when we read Satsu Maharaj's book, many of them were just staying in. First, Prabhupada, first aspect of Varnashram is marriage. Sannyasi had to do it. So that is first aspect of marriage. That is Varnashram part only. So some of the husbands, some of the wives left, some of the husbands left. So all those things were happening. So basically, it's Kali Yuga. So that is one aspect where Prabhupada gave, even in Vedic tradition, there is only Diksha for Brahmanical Diksha, or whatever. The Diksha is only for husband, and the wife follows. When Kshatriya gets Brahmanical Diksha, Brahmana gets Diksha thread, and Vaishya. Shudra is not given. But the Diksha given to Brahmanical Diksha, and Vaishya and Kshatriya is with the understanding that this Varna, all of them get, they get Vijay. And accordingly, their wife, they follow the sacrifice. But in case of ISKCON, as you pointed out, yes, because some of them, they were separate brahmachari in ashram, so didn't wanted to marry only. Some were married, some of them might not be qualified. So Prabhupada saw it, the visionary Acharya saw it in that way, and he has given. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
यस्तयो पुरुषा साक्षात् विष्णुर्यज्ञ स्वरूपदृक् यस्त्री स दक्षिणा भूतेर अंशभूतान पायिनी.
Of the two children born of Akuti, the male child was directly an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his name was Yajna, which is another name for Lord Vishnu. The female child was a partial incarnation of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, and the eternal consort of Lord Vishnu.
So now, the eternal consort, the couple, they appeared from the same womb. Prabhupada writes, amazing. Yes, please read. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. I think you are muted too.
Yes, Prabhu. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is the eternal consort of Lord Vishnu.
Okay. His signal is being broken.
Be changed. And Yajna.
Basically, what Prabhupada is writing in the purport is the concepts are born in the same womb. So they are Lakshmi and Narayana. So Lakshmi, the expansion, she is born, and even Yajna is nothing but Lord Vishnu. Therefore, their eternal relationship cannot be changed. And Yajna, the boy born of Akuti, later married the goddess of fortune. So these are very rare occurrences in our Sanatana scriptures, where Lord only, like another example is Prutu Maharaj. Prutu's father is Vena, and churning of Prutu's body, same father. And who is appearing? Prutu and Archi. And Prutu is Lord Vishnu, and Archi is his eternal consort. So body is same. From that point of view, some Vedic scriptures speak about the same body, they should be appearing brother and sister. But here, it is beyond Vedic. It is Lord appearing as with eternal consent. They are appearing, and therefore they are getting married. And one thing what happened here is Yajna, because of that, the grandfather took him as his son. So he went into that. And this goddess of fortune, she remained with Prajapati Ruchi. And then when the time came, again that comes the next verse. Prabhupada is mentioning the previous verse only. When time came, they got married. Ananye swagraham putrya putram vitata rochisham swayambhuvo mada yukto ruchir jagraha dakshinam.
Swayambhuva Manu very gladly brought home the beautiful boy named Yajna, and Ruchi, his son in law, kept with him the daughter Dakshina.
Can read. So Prabhupada mentions in the purport, Swami Muni had put a condition, son will go on, should come to me, but we became very happy because it was a twins, boy and girl. Then Ruchi also very happy that he got a baby girl and he had given a baby boy back to Swami Manu. That is what Prabhupada writes here. Yes, we can read this. What is the meaning of Yajna? Yajna means Vishnu.
Therefore, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.9, Yajna arthat karmanaha. One should act, but one should perform one's prescribed duty only for the sake of Yajna or Vishnu.
Continue till the end.
Okay. If one does not act for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or if one does not perform devotional service, then there will be reactions to all one's activities. It does not matter if the reaction is good or bad. If our activities are not dovetailed with the desire of Supreme Lord, or if we do not act in Krishna consciousness, then we shall be responsible for the results of our activities. There is always a reaction to every kind of action. But if action is performed for yajna, there is no reaction. Thus, if one acts for yajna or Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is not entangled in the material condition, for it is mentioned in the Vedas and also in the Bhagavad Gita that the Vedas and the Vedic rituals are all meant for understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. From the very beginning, one should try to act in Krishna consciousness. That will free one from the reactions of material activities.
Yes. So now Yajna is born. Tam kamayanam bhagavan vaha yavusham patim tushtayam toshanam apanno ajanayat vadashatmajam. Somebody else would like to move? 5 verse. You would say. Yes.
The Lord of the ritualistic performance of Yajna later married Dakshina, who was anxious to have the personality of Godhead as her husband. And in this wife, the Lord was also very much pleased to beget 12 children. The Lord of sacrifice Yajna married Dakshina, who desired him and taking pleasure in her, who was satisfied and produced 12 sons.
It's the same. The red one is Prabhupada's and the black one is Chakravarti Path's translation. So
Yeah.
you can read the red one and then the purport. So here, Lord Yajna and Dakshina both are born, but in due course of time, because they are eternal concerts, They got married and their 12 children were produced. So Prabhupada speaks about in the purport about the ideal husband and wife. The couple, so Lakshmi Narayan are the exemplary couple, the role model for the couples of this material world. When we speak of Lakshmi and Narayan are forever happy as husband and wife. And similarly, Chanakya Pandit quotes that if husband and wife are always satisfied with one another, then the goddess of fortune automatically comes. So when there is no disagreement between husband and wife, material opulence, good children. So basically, in Vedic tradition, wife is trained to be satisfied in all conditions. The husband, according to that, with Vedic instruction, is required to please the wife with sufficient food. So wife should cooperate the husband, and husband should provide her needs. And then they can live like Lakshmi Narayan. That is what basically Prabhupada tells here. But in the present society, in absence of such relationship, they are producing 12 children now. So he comes to the conclusion that because that kind of relationship is not there, mutual dealings and is not there, therefore unwanted children are produced, and therefore there is no peace, prosperity in the present day world. Tosha, Pratosha, Santosha, Bhadra Shanti, Idashpati, Idma Kaveri Vibhu, Swanaha, Deva, Gochana, Vishat. Yes, please read the translation.
The 12 boys born of Yajna and Dakshina were named Tosha, Pratosha, Santosha, Bhadra, Shanti, Idaspati, Idhana, Kavi, Vibhu, Swalana, Sudeva, and Rochana.
Yes, Vishat means 12. Tushitanaamate Deva, Asan Swayam Bhuvantare, Marichi Mishra Rashyo, Yajnasura Ganeshwara.
During the time of Swayambhu Manu, these sons all became the demigods. Demigods collectively named the Tushtas. Marichi became the head of the 7 rishis, and Yajna became the king of the demigods Indra.
We will come back to this after reading this next sloka also. Priyavratottana Manu Putro Mahojusho Tatputra Pautra Trimnam Anuvrattam Tadantaram.
Swayambhu Manu's 2 sons, Priyavrat and Uttanpad, became very powerful kings, and their sons and grandsons spread all over the 3 rivers during that period.
Okay, I'll just share something. Based on that, the purport will be clear to all. So you have seen this. So in any, this comes in 8th canto. 8th canto is about Manvantara. We have 10 subjects. Manvantara, Ishanugata, Nirodha Mukti, Ashrayata. So any of the Manvantara, in one day of Brahma, we have 14 Manus, and each Manu reigns for 72 Divya Yugas. So that 72 Divya Yugas is called as one Manvantara. So in that, there is one Manu. As I told, in one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus. So that 72 Divya Yugas, there is Manu, then there is Devatas, then there is Manuputra, then there is Indra, then there is Shaptarishi, and there is Amsha Avatar and Manvantara Avatar. So in these 2 verses, if you see carefully, Swayambhu Manu is mentioned, Tushitas are mentioned, they became the Devatas, sons of Yajna. 12 sons, they became Tushitas, they became the Devatas. Manuputra, Priyavrata Uttanapad, and Yajna, who became Indra himself, Swayambhu Manu's son, Swayambhu Manu's daughter's son, was adopted by Swayambhu Manu. He is Yajna. So is Indra also, at the same time is also Manvantara Avatar. And there is Sage Marichi. So all this together are 6 elements in each Manvantara, and they are needed for the administration. Like we have a government of any country, we have, especially in India, there is Rajya Sabha, there is Lok Sabha, and then there are bills passed and everything. It's an administrative system, and it may vary from country to country. Similarly, for our universal administration, for every Manvantara, these posts are post Manu, Devata, Manuputra, Indra, Rishis, Shapta Rishis, and Manvantara Avatar. These are posts for the maintenance. And These two verses which we read now, this speaks about all of them. And this will come in the 12th canto of Bhagavatam. And this more detail will come about this Manvantaras in 8th canto of Bhagavatam. That is what Prabhupada is going to write here. So, listen carefully. This is a shloka from Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 7th chapter, 15th verse. Manvantaram Manur Deva Manu Putra Sureshwara. Manvantara Manur Deva. In one Manvantara, there is Manu, there is Devata, Manu Putra, Sureshwara, that is Indra, Rishi, Shapta Rishi, and Amshavatara. Cha Hare Sad Vidam Uchyate. These are the 6 administrative managers, advisors through which the universe is maintained. And in this verse, total 6 are mentioned. Swayambhu was a Manu. Yadya took the role of Indra and Avtara. Their 2 children are Manuputra, and then there is Deva, that is Tushitas, and Marichi. They are rishis. That is what Prabhupada writes in his purport. Yes, please read the purport. During the life of
During the life of Swayambhu Manu, 6 kinds of living entities were generated from the demigods known as Tushtas, from the sage headed by the Marichi, and from descendants of Yajna, king of the demigods. All of them expanded the progeny to observe the order of the Lord to fill the universe with living entities. These 6 kinds of living entities are known as Manus, Devtas, Manuputras, Avtaras, Sureshwaras, and Rishis. Yajna, being the incarnation of supreme personal Godhead, became the leader of the demigods, Indra. Yeah.
So they are going to administrate this Swayambhu's time period. Priyavrat Pado. So we finish this also because they are Manuputras. Already we read this. Devahutim Adattata Kardamaya Majam Manu Tat Sambandhi Shuta Prayam Bhavato Gadato Mama. So now Akuti's lineage is done. Akuti now will come to Devahuti because Devahuti is the second daughter, Akuti is the first daughter. So Akuti got married to Prajapati Ruchi, Yajna, and then expansion of Lakshmi was born. And after this Devahuti, Kapila is born, but the 9 daughters, what happened to the 9 daughters? Their description will come here. Please read it, Prabhuji.
My dear son, Swayambhu Manu handed over his very dear daughter Dehuti to Kardamuni. I have already spoken to you about them, and you have heard about them almost in full.
So what is the meaning of almost in full? He has only spoken about Kapila. He has not spoken about the 9 daughters. That is what Chakravarti was mentioning in the commentary. Dakshaya Brahmaputraya Prasutim Bhagavan Manu Prayachadyat Krita Sargas Trilokyam Vidato Maham. So now Prasuti was given to Daksha Prajapati. Yes, I think 5 verses are done. Some other devotee can read.
Praya Manu handed over his daughter Prasuti to the son of Brahma named Daksha, who was also one of the progenitors of the living entity. The descendants of Daksha are spread throughout the 3 worlds.
Manu, the 3rd daughter, is given to Daksha. This is 4th canto now, 2nd chapter is going to speak about that only. Daksha. Daksha Yajna. Shiva. Ya Kardama Sutta Prokta Nava Brahma Rishipatnaya Tasham Prasuti Prashavam Prochamanam Nibodhame.
You have already been informed about the 9 daughters of Kardama Muni, who were handed over to 9 different stages. I shall now describe the descendants of those 9 daughters. Please hear from me.
Prabhupada writes the purport. The 3rd canto has already described how Kardama Muni begot 9 daughters. 3rd canto, 23rd, 22nd, 23rd chapter it comes. And how all the daughters were later handed over to the great sages like Marichi, Atri, Vashishta. It's mentioned in that. 22, 23, 24. 3rd canto. Patni Marichis tu Kala, Tushave Kardamatmaja, Kashyapam Purnima Namcha, Yayorapuritam Jagat.
Kardama
Please remember.
Kardama Muni's daughter Kala, who was married to Marichi, gave birth to two children whose names were Kashyap and Purnima. Their descendants are spread all over the world.
पूर्णिमासुतो विरजं विश्वगं च परान्तप देवकुल्यां हरे पादा शौचाव्याभुत् सरिद्दिवः.
My dear Vidura, of the two sons Kashyap and Purnima three children, namely Viraja, Vishwaga, and Devakulya. Of these three, Devakulya was the water which washed the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead and which later on transformed into the Ganges of the heavenly planets.
Yes. So Kashyapa and Purnima. Purnima got three children. Viraja, Vishwaga, Devakulya. Devakulya is nothing but Chakurti was mentioned. She is a personification of Ganga, deity, personification deity of Ganga, because she washed the lotus feet of Lord. That's what Prabhupada mentions purport. Yes, Panta, you can read the purport.
Of the two sons, Kashyapa and Purnima, herein Purnima's descendants are described. An elaborate description of these descendants will be given in the 6th canto. It is also understood herein that Devakulya is the presiding deity of the river Ganges, which comes down from the heavenly planets to this planet and is accepted to be sanctified because it touched the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari.
Atre patni anusuyatrin jajne suya shashasutan dattam durvasa somam atmesha brahma sambhavam. So now in the previous, see carefully, Viraja, Vishwaga, and Devakulya, who became the divine Ganga. And before that, we saw Kashyapa and Purnima. So Purnima gave birth to these three. They have Viraja, Vishwaga, and Devakanya. Devakulya. Now, Atre Patne Anusuya. Yes, you can read this. Anusuya and Atri's sections coming.
Anusuya, the wife of Atri Muni, gave birth to three very famous sons, Soma, Dattatreya, and Durvasa, who were partial representations of Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, and Lord Brahma. Soma was a partial representation of Lord Brahma. Dattatreya was a partial representation of Lord Vishnu, and Durvasa was partial representation of Lord Shiva.
Yes. The Kala was married to Marichi, the first daughter of Kala. She was married to Marichi and she gave birth to Purnima and Kashyapa. Their descent is mentioned. Now, second daughter. Anusuya is the second daughter of Kardamuni and Devuti, and she is married to Atri. And then they got children, Dattatreya, Durvasa, and Soma. This is one of the section of this where Atri is meditating on. He is not very clear about who is God. He is a little confused. He starts offering word like Jagadishaha. So that Prabhupada is going to elaborate in next verses now. But for time being, in this Atre Patni Anusuya, you see, Atmesha Brahma Sambhavam. So this Atmesha Brahma Sambhavam is, he wanted to worship some supreme. So that Atma is nothing but not oneself, but supreme. Atma means Vishnu here. These three were Amshas of Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. So Prabhupada writes in purport, very big purport. What he speaks about is Swa Amsha, Vibhin Amsha. So here when is mentioned in the Atma, that is not Vibhin Amsha. This Atma mentioned is Swa Amsha, Vishnu's expansion. That is what is mentioning here, Dattatreya. Is the Amsha, part and parcel. And Prabhupada is mentioning about Vibhin Amsha, Swa Amsha. And how Vibhin Amsha, they are in mode of goodness, they are mode of passion, they are mode of ignorance. So similarly, the Swa Amsha also based on that radiation, somebody's Kala, Pumsa, and the expansions, incarnations, based on that they are different strength. And at last Prabhupada comes to this point. He's giving analogy of lamps. We can read Mataji from it in Vedanta Sutra.
So Vedanta Sutra, the living entities of different gradations are compared to candles or lamps with different candle power. For example, some electric bulbs have the power of 1000 candles, some have the power of 500 candles, the power of 100 candles, some 50 candles, etc. But all electric bulbs have light. Light is present in every bulb, but the gradations of light are different. Similarly, there are gradations of Brahman. The Vishnu's Swamch expansions of the Supreme Lord in different Vishnu forms are like lamps. Lord Shiva is also like a lamp, and the supreme candle power, or the 100% light is Vishnu. The Vishnu Tattva has 94%, the Shiva Tattva has 84%, Lord Brahma has 78%, and the living entities are also like Brahma, but in the conditioned state, their power is still more dim. There are gradations of Brahman, and no one can deny this fact. Therefore, the words Atmesha Brahma Sambhavan indicate that Dattatreya was directly part and parcel of Vishnu, whereas Durvas and Soma were parts and parcels of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma.
So basically, Prabhupada is telling Swa-amsha means Lord, expansion, incarnation, or Swayam Bhagwan. So just Swa-amsha. Lord expands for different things. There are 6 kinds of incarnations. Puna Avatar, Yuga Avatar, Manvantara Avatar, Leela Avatar, Shaktavesh Avatar, Purusha Avatar. So these are all Swa-amshas. This is Vibhin Amsha. That is separated expansion, that is living entity, Jiva Tattva. So here Shiva, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma and even all the living entities, they are coming in Jiva, Vibhin Amshas. But again, Shiva is having Shiva Tattva, there is Vishnu Tattva, there is Shiva Tattva and there is Jiva Tattva. So Brahma and all the living entities come in Jiva Tattva. But Brahma is having 78%. But all other living entities who are there, they are not up to the level of Brahma, because again, Prabhupada mentioning here, the conditioned state, their power is still more dim. That means in the material world, Brahma is the topmost. All other living entities are below him. But they can, maximum can become Brahma in the universe. But the position of Shiva is different, Shiva Tattva. And this position of Vishnu is completely different. So therefore, Prabhupada is concluding here, this Dattatreya was the expansion or directly part and parcel of Vishnu. Whereas Durvasa and Soma were part and parcels of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. So that is what he wants to clearly identify, which Atri Muni was not having any clarity. And because of that, he was not clear whom to call. He called Jagadisha. And all of them came and he was confused. Right? Only one Jagdish should be there. All have come. Now who is old? Now that story is going to come now further in next slokas. Vidura Vivacha Atredgre Sura Shreshta. Yes, Prabhu. Suryakant.
Yeah. So Prabhuji, actually in Maharashtra at least, I know that the Dattatreya is considered the combined incarnation of Brahma, Shiva and Vishnu. So how do we align this statement with respect to what was said when
According to
Bhagavatam?
Yeah, according to Bhagavatam, Dattatreya is only Vishnu. Not all Vishnu, is expansion of Vishnu.
Okay.
There is Kala, there is Pumsa, there is Amsha Avatar, there is Amsha Avatar.
Prabhuji, the question probably is in a different way. He wants to ask that here in Maharashtra we see that.
Yeah, I know about that Maharashtra, that 3 heads are there. One is Shiva, Brahma and everything.
3 heads.
But here in Bhagavatam it is speaking about these 3 are different personalities.
So it is 3 different persons, not 3 faces and 1 body, right?
Sound is less, it's less true, your sound is less.
No, so actually here we see 3 faces and 1 body. So it's not 3 faces and body, there are 3 different bodies, right?
How? At least Bhagavatam is speaking about 3 personalities. And somebody Dattatreya where 1 person is coming in 3 bodies. At least Bhagavatam is not speaking about it. Or might be some Puranas might be there, or some Kalpaveds, we may not, it's like we cannot comment on it. But whenever we speak, we have reference. So reference for this Bhagavatam, at least Bhagavatam is speaking about what Dattatreya as 1 person, Lord expansion of Lord Vishnu, and Soma expansion of Brahma, and Durvasa expansion of Lord Shiva, or separate personalities which we see character in Bhagavatam. Soma is a demigod, Durvasa
So there
is
are
a
3 different, there are 3 different bodies or 3 different there are three different bodies and three faces and one body, or three different bodies altogether separately?
Separate,
That's
separate. Three different personalities.
okay.
Durvasa Muni is a character who comes in ninth canto. Soma is also character. Dattatreya is also a character. Yes. At least Bhagavatam. To speak out reference, this is here very clear. It's only Lord Vishnu's expansion is called Dattatreya. Yes.
Right. Actually, Puruji, there is a story that this Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Shankar or Mahesh, they came here to test the purity of Sati Anusuya, and then she, by her prowesses, turned them into small children, and then they came into as a single
I've
child
heard.
having the.
I've heard these pastimes of Maharashtra. We visited that place also. It is near Nanded and Wasim. Above that, there is a. So that is Kalpa Bhed. Even Maharaj has told that pastime in his lectures. That is the reason I did not deny that. I told it's different kalpas, same pastime also happen in different ways. Like Mahabharata speaks about Parikshit Maharaj hiding somewhere and some fruit, the kalpa, Takshak is coming, and Bhagavatam is speaking about completely different road. So Jiva Goswami tells it it's a kalpa.
Okay.
Different kalpa. Sahasra Yuga
Okay,
Parikshit. There are so many yugas. In some yuga, it might have happened that pastime. So that is Sal Puranic story. Okay, na Prabhu?
Oh, okay, bro. Okay, yes.
Yes, Mataji, please read. After hearing.
After hearing this, Vidura inquired from Maitreya, "My dear master, how is it that the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who are the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of the whole creation, became the offspring of the wife of Atri Muni?"
So, yes, read the purport.
The inquisitiveness of Vidura was quite fitting, for he understood that when the super soul Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva all appeared through the person of Anasuya, the wife of Atri Muni, there must have been some great purpose. Otherwise, why should they have appeared in such a way?
What it's mentioning is the three murtis are appearing as a children expansion. So now if you see carefully, this is somewhat happening between Maitreya and Vidura. So Vidura is asking this question. Okay, these three great personalities appeared means there should be some reason. What is that reason? I want to know. So that again this storyline is starting now. So only Vidura, Maitreya was speaking about the genealogy of Devuti, first Kala, then second she spoke about Anusuya. So for Anusuya, these three are born. So he's giving pause. Tell me, what was the reason these three personalities came here suddenly? What was that they were pleased to this? Now, Maitreya will tell the history of it. Maitreya Vacha Brahmana Chodita Shushva Atrir Brahma Vidam Vara Sahapatnya Yaya Vruksham Kuladrim Tapsishtita. Ah, see, it's the same thing is here. They went to a mountain, Riksham. The mountain name is Riksham. So they did tapasya and they wanted a offspring. Yes. Somebody else can read. I think 5 verses are done, na? 16 verses starting. Next 5 verses, some of the devotees can do.
Maitreya said, when Lord Brahma ordered Atri Muni to create generations after marrying Anusuya, Atri Muni and his wife Eva went to perform several austerities in the valley of the mountain known as Raksha.
Yes, it's the name of a mountain. Tasmin prasunas tabaka palasha shokakanane varbi sravadbir udgushte nirvindya samantata.
In that mountain valley flows a river named Nirvindya. On the bank of the river are many Ashoka trees and other plants full of palasa flowers, and there is always the sweet sound of water flowing from a waterfall. The husband and wife reached that beautiful place.
Yes. प्राणायामेन संयम्य मनोवर्ष सुतं मुनि तिस्तात् एकपादेन निर्द्वन्द्वो नीलभोजन अनिलभोजन. What is the bhojan for him? Only air. Anilabhojanaha. Was only eating air. And what was he followed? Ashtanga yoga process. Pranayamena samyamya. Equipoised his mind. Manovarsha satam muni. Satam. Long. 100 years. Atishtad ekapadena. One leg. This is austerities mentioned here. Yes. 19th speaks about the austerities. Please read.
There the great sage concentrated his mind by the yogic breathing exercises and thereby controlling all attachment. He remained standing on one leg only, eating nothing but air, and stood there on one leg for 100 years.
Yes. Sharanam tam prapadyeham ya eva jagadishvara prajamatmasamam mayam prayachat iti chintayan. Yes.
He was thinking, may the Lord of the universe, of whom I have taken shelter, kindly be pleased to offer me a son exactly like him.
Yeah, this sloka is little important. There are two things in here. Sharanam tam prapadde aham ya eva jagadishvara. Sharanam tam prapadde aham ye eva jagadishvara. First thing, first line. Who is that Jagadishvara? Jagadishvara is controller of the universe. It was not clear. That is one thing. Second thing is Prajam Atma Samam Mayam. I want a son like you, exactly like you. Prayachala iti chintayan. Prajanam Atma Sammam. Atma Sammam matlab like you. I want a son like you want it. But he's not telling I want you as a son. I want a son exactly like him. That means he wanted a son, not God, not Lord as a son, but he wanted a son who was like Lord. So Prabhupada mentions this as not pure devotional service. First thing, there is no clarity of who is supreme. Second thing is, I want son, and therefore I'm coming to you, and that son should be like you. Basically got expansion, and because it was not clear about who is Jagadishvara, all three personalities came. So Prabhupada tells about the hierarchy of what is Jagadishvara and his desire, how that desire is a material desire compared to Vasudeva or Krishna or other personalities. Please read, bro. So I was thinking like this, right? Please kindly give me a son. I've taken shelter and be pleased to offer me a son exactly like that. Please read the purport.
It appears that the great sage Atri Muni had no specific idea of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, he must have been conversant with the Vedic information that there is a Supreme Personality of Godhead who is the creator of the universe, from whom everything emanated, who maintains this created manifestation, and in whom the entire manifestation is conserved after dissolution. Yato vahi imeni bhutani Taittiriya Upanishad. The Vedic mantras give us information of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Atri Muni concentrated his mind upon that Supreme Personality of Godhead, even without knowing his name, just to beg from him a child exactly on his level. This kind of devotional service in which knowledge of God's name is lacking is also described in Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord says that four kinds of men with backgrounds of pious activities come to him asking for what they need. Atri Muni wanted a son exactly like the Lord, and therefore he is not supposed to have been a pure devotee, because he had a desire to be fulfilled, and that desire was material. Although he wanted a son exactly like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this desire was material because he did not want the personality of Godhead himself, but only a child exactly like him. If he had desired the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his child, he would have been completely free from material desires, because he would have wanted the supreme absolute truth, but because he wanted a similar child, his desire was material. Thus, Atri Muni cannot be counted among the pure devotees.
Prabhupada is trying to mention about his purpose. That means he is categorizing him in Sukritinas. Artho, Artharthi, Jitnyasu, Jnani. There he is having going to the Lord. He is glorious, Sukriti, but out of desire. Compared to Kardama, who knew Lord himself is going to incarnate, therefore he got married. Or Prajapati Ruchi, he knew that Lord himself is going to come. Tapayamanam Tribhuvanam Pranayama Mai Dashad Pranayamai Dashad Agnina Nirgatena Munir Murna Samiksha Prabhavastraya. So what happened was, when he did tapasya like this, there was Agni coming from his pranayama tapasya, showing that he is completely satisfied in his mind. And that was creating, that would have created trouble to the others. And that was sensed by Paramatma, Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu is present in Lord Shiva also and Lord Brahma also, because he's calling Jagadishwara. So all of them got to know that he's calling, and all of them came there. Please read through.
While Atri Muni was engaged in these several austerities, a blazing fire came out of his head by virtue of his breathing exercise, and that fire was seen by the three principal deities of the three worlds.
Yeah. Please read this. According to Srila Jiva Goswami.
According to Sri Jiva Goswami, the fire of pranayama is mental satisfaction. That
Yes.
fire was perceived by the super soul Vishnu, and thereby Lord Brahma and Shiva also perceived it. Atri Muni, by his breathing exercise, concentrated on the super soul or the Lord of the universe. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord of the universe is Vasudev Sarvam Iti, and by the direction of Vasudeva, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva work. Therefore, on the direction of Vasudeva, both Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva perceived the several penance adopted by Atri Muni, and thus they were pleased to come down, as stated in the next verse.
So on the direction of Vasudeva, both Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva pursued, and therefore they are pleased to come down to give him a son exactly like one of them, like them. Expansion. Apsaro Muni Gandharva Siddha Vidya Daro Ragai Vidyamanas Yashashas Tadashrama Padam Yayu.
At that time,
Hmm.
the three deities approached the hermitage of Atri Muni, accompanied by the denizens of the heavenly planets, such as the celestial beauties, the Gandharvas, the Siddhas, the Vidyadharas, and the Nagas. Thus they entered the ashrama of the great sage who had become famous by his austerities.
So all the Gandharvas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, they all came because Lord is going to appear there. Have appeared there. So they came to glorify them. Ashrama became famous by his austerities. Yes, purport.
It is advised in the Vedic literatures that one should take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Lord of the universe and the Master of creation, maintenance, and dissolution. He is known as the Super Soul, and when one worships the Super Soul, all other deities such as Brahma and Shiva appear with Lord Vishnu because they are directed by the Super Soul.
Although he was not very clear who is Jagadishwara, but Prabhupada is utilizing that because he called, so Vishnu came, Vishnu is a super soul, but Vishnu is in everybody's heart, therefore they also come. So you don't have to call them separately. If Lord Vishnu comes, automatically they will come. This also we can see in Prithumaraj's sacrifice. Lord Vishnu is coming, and with that Brahma and Shiva also comes there for the sacrifice. Tata Pradurabhava Samyoga Vidyotita Manu Muni Uttishtan Ekapadena Dadarsha Vibhudarshabam.
The sage was standing on one leg, but as soon as he saw that the three deities had appeared before him, he was so pleased to see them all together that Despite great difficulty, he approached them on one leg.
So basically, three personalities came, seeing their vahanas and seeing their astras, he understood who is who. Because he's seeing them for the first time. So it was not easy for him. So he was very eager to meet them because they had appeared there. He was standing up in order to greet them properly. Pranamya dandavat bhumau upataste raham anjali vrishahamsha suparnastan svais chinnescha chinnitan. So as soon as the prayer started following, please read good. Okay, finished at 25. Two more are remaining. Please read.
Thereafter, he began to offer prayers to the three deities who were seated on different carriers, a bull, a swan, and Garuda, and who held in their hands a drum, kusha, grass, and a discus. The sage offered them his respects by falling down like a stick.
Prabhupada is translating Sudarshan Chakra discuss. Like children have sports, they have discuss throw. So Prabhupada is translating Lord's Chakra is discuss. So Prabhupada is highlighting on Dandavat. As soon as he saw, he fell like a rod. And Danda means rod, long rod, and Vat means like before a superior, one has to fall down to the ground just like a stick. This sort of offering of respect is called Dandavat. Atri Rishi offered his respect to the three deities in that way. They were identified by the different carriers and different symbolic representations. In that connection, is stated Lord Vishnu was sitting on Garuda. Now, this is not known to Western people. So, what is that Garuda? Big aquiline bird, and was carrying in his hand a disc chakra. Brahma was sitting on a swan and had in his hand kusha grass. Lord Shiva was sitting on a bull and carrying in his hand a small drum called Damaru. Atri Rishi recognized them by their symbolic representation of different carriers, and thus he offered them prayers and respect. Kripavalokenah sat vadaneno palambitam tadrocisha pratihate Emilia Murakshini. Yes, last verse. Please read. Next verse, somebody else can.
Atri Muni was greatly pleased to see that the three devas were gracious towards him. His eyes were dazzled by the effulgence of their bodies, and therefore he closed his eyes for the time being.
Closed his eyes for the time being. Yes. Chetastat-pravanayam yunjan astavit sammatanjali slakshnaaya suktaya vacha sarvaloka dhariyasha atri vacha vishvodbhavastiti layeshu vibhajyamaner mayar gunay anuyugam vigrihita deha te brahma vishnu girisha pranatosmi aham vas Yam kayeva bhavatam mahihopa bhuta. Yes, somebody else can read. Next 5 verses.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
I think
ठीक है, माता
Shiromani Radhika Mataji wants to read. She can read. And Parmeshwar Mataji, you read next verses, 30 to 35.
Hare Krishna. But since his heart was already attracted by the deities, somehow or other, he gathered his senses and with folded hands and sweet words, he began to offer prayer to the predominating deities of the universe. The great sage Atri said, O Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, you have divided yourself into three bodies by accepting the three modes of material nature as you do in every millennium for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all of you and beg to inquire whom of you three I have called by my prayer.
Yeah. So, Brahma, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, you have divided yourself into three for accepting. See, he's telling all Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, you accepted three modes of material nature. That means he is accepting a mode of material nature. If that is so, then how? One is creation, one is maintenance, one is dissolution. I offer you respectful and to all of you, beg to inquire whom among you I have called by my prayer. I don't know who is supreme. So you are let me know. They're not going to let him know. They're going to smile and give him one child. Yes, mother, please read his purport. Prabhupada speaks about Jagadishvaraha.
Atri Rishi called for Supreme Personality of Godhead, Jagad Ishvara, the Lord of Universe. The Lord must exist before the creation, otherwise, how could he be its Lord's? How could be its Lord? If someone construct a big building, this indicates that he must have existed before the building was constructed. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is Lord, the creator of the universe, must be transcendental to the material modes of nature. But it is known that Vishnu takes charge of the mode of goodness, Brahma takes charge of the mode of passion, and Lord Shiva takes charge of the mode of ignorance. Therefore, Atri Muni said that Jagad Ishvara, the Lord of the universe, must be one of you, but since the three of you have appeared, I cannot recognize whom I have called. You are all so kind. Please let me know who is actually Jagadishwara, the Lord of Universe. In fact, Atri Rishi was doubtful about the constitutional position of Supreme Lord Vishnu, but he was quite certain that the Lord of the Universe cannot be one of the creatures created by Maya. His very inquiry about whom he had called indicates that he was in doubt about the constitutional position of the Lord. Therefore, he prayed to all three, kindly let me know who is the transcendental Lord of the universe. He was certain, of course, that not all of them could he the Lord, but the Lord of the universe was one of the three.
Prabhupada is telling here that Jagdishwar, Lord of the universe, must be one of you. In fact, Atri Rishi was doubtful about the constitutional position of Supreme Lord Vishnu, but he was quite certain that Lord of the universe cannot be the creature of this great world. What Prabhupada is trying to write here in the beginning is, somebody has to be the Lord of the universe. He should be present before the creation. And Atri Rishi also categorizing Vishnu takes care of mode of goodness, Brahma takes passion, Shiva takes care of Lord ignorance. That means they are inside the maintenance of the universe. That means who is beyond that, before that Prabhupada is going to bring out in the next purport. Eko महे भगवान विविध प्रदनैः चितिकृत प्रजाननय कथं नो भूयम् अत्र गतस्तनुव्रतं मनसोऽपि दूरात् भूत प्रसीदत महान् इह विस्मयो मे. Yes, please continue.
I called for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, desiring a son like him, and I thought of him only. But although he is far beyond the mental speculation of man, all three of you have come here. Kindly let me know how you have come, for I am greatly bewildered about this.
Atri Muni is confidently aware that Supreme Son Godhead of the Lord, Godhead is the Lord of the universe. So he prayed for the one Supreme Lord. He was surprised, therefore, that three of them appeared. That was his confusion. So, इसको पूछो मैं. मैत्री वाचा इति तस्य वचा श्रुत्वा त्रयस्ते विबुधार ऋषभा प्रत्याहुश्लक्ष्णया वाचा प्राहस्य ताम ऋषिं प्रभु. What they are going to do? Like when Arjuna is sitting with Krishna on the battle, and Arjuna is giving reasons, 5 reasons why I should not fight. Back to Bhakti Shastri, first chapter, 5 reasons. And then second chapter, first 1 to 8 verses, Arjuna is trying and saying, Kutaswam Kashmalidam. Krishna is chastising him. And he turns to him, Karpanya dosho bhavata subhava prachami tvam dhamma sammuda chetaha. Then he's just smiling at him. Prahasya tam rishim prabhu. There is just simply smiling there. That Sishasyam Salif Samtam Prapanna. Before that, when Arjuna is seeing Krishna, Krishna is telling, Are, you are giving 5 reasons, you are bewildered. So you are a Vibhu, I am Vibhu, and you are Anu. And there it's Prahasyan comes there. Smile. Because Arjuna, from the position of friend, he is accepting Krishna as Guru. So in this case, Atri, these three personalities have come. He is also bewildered. Who is supreme? He is not knowing. And same thing, like Krishna smiled there, his three personalities want to just smile and he will fulfill your desire. Take this. But the difference between that smile is Krishna started giving Bhagavad Gita to him and gave him the conclusion of who is supreme. But in this case, they are only he's going to just get a desire fulfilled because he has approached the Lord with a desire. That is the reason he has got the desire, but that knowledge will not dawn. Please read, Mataji.
The great sage Maitreya continued, upon hearing Atri Muni speak in that way, the three great deities smiled and they replied in the following sweet words.
His mind. They're going to give him the desired, what he had performed for. Deva uchu yata kritaste sankalpo bhavyam te naiva nanyata sat sankalpasya te brahman yadvai dhyayati te vayam. Yes, Satya Sankalpasya. Prabhupada is going to highlight on this word, Satya Sankalpasya. One whose determination is never lost. Please read, Mataji.
The three deities told Atri Muni, dear Brahmana, you are perfect in your determination, and therefore, as you have decided, so it will happen. It will not happen otherwise. We are all the same person upon whom you were meditating, and therefore we have all come to you.
So Satya Sankalpa is you are perfect in your determination, and therefore you will get the desired result. Yes. Please read the book.
Atri Muni unspecifically thought of personality of Godhead, the Lord of the universe, although he had no clear idea of the Lord of the universe, nor of his specific form, Mahavishnu, from whose breathing millions of universe emanate, and into whom they are again withdrawn, may be accepted as the Lord of the universe. Garbhodakshahi Vishnu, from whose abdomen sprouted the lotus flower, which is the birthplace of Brahma, may also be considered the Lord of the universe. Similarly, Kshirodakshahi Vishnu, who is the super soul of all living entities, may also be considered the Lord of the universe. Then, under the order of Kshirodakshahi Vishnu, the Vishnu form within this universe, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, may also be accepted as the Lord of the universe. Vishnu is the Lord of the universe because he is its maintainer. Similarly, Brahma creates the different planetary systems and
Population.
planetary system and the population. So he also may be considered the Lord of the universe. Or Lord Shiva, who is ultimately the destroyer of the universe, also may be considered its Lord. Therefore, since Atri Muni did not specifically mention whom he wanted, all three, Brahma, Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, came before him. They said, since you were thinking of having a son exactly like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of the universe, your determination will be fulfilled. In other words, one's determination is fulfilled according to the strength of one's devotion. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.25, Yanti Deva Vratan Devan Pitrun Yanti Pitruvratan. If one is attached to a particular demigod, one is promoted to the abode of that demigod. If one is attached to the Pitras or forefathers, one is promoted to their planet. And similarly, if one is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, one is promoted to the abode of Lord Krishna. Atri Muni had no clear conception of the Lord of the universe. Therefore, the three presiding deities who are actually the Lord of the universe in the three departments of modes of nature all came before him. Now, according to the strength of his determination for a son, his desire would be fulfilled by the grace of Lord.
Yes. So Prabhupada is mentioning there is Mahavishnu, who is the super soul of the material world, the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, the super soul of the Brahmanda, Suryadaksha Vishnu, the super soul of the living entity, and under that hierarchy there is Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, then there is Brahma, and there is Shiva, maintainer, destroyer, creator, and destroyer. Therefore, from that aspect, because it's not very clear, those three personalities came and thus and because determination is very strong, therefore his desire is fulfilled. And Prabhupada is quoting Yanti Deva Vrata Devan, because based on the desire of the worshipper, who is not having very clear picture, he goes to that. Therefore, because he approached them for the desire, therefore his desire was fulfilled. अतस्मादं शुभूतेस्ते आत्मजालोकविष्णुता भवितरो अंगभद्रं ते विश्रक्ष्यांति च ते यशः. Next, yes, Parmeshwar Mataji, please read.
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation. You will have sons who will represent a partial manifestation of our potency. And because we desire all good fortune for you, those sons will glorify your reputation throughout the world.
Yes. So all the sons will be partial manifestation of our potency. Okay. Yes, that's it. Prabhupada purport is not there. Evam kama varam dattva prati jagmo sueshvara savajitas samyak dampatyo vishatostata. Now couple.
Right.
Yes.
Thus, while the couple looked on, the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, disappeared from that place after bestowing upon Atri Muni the benediction.
Samo Buddha Brahmano Amshena, Samo Abud Brahmano Amshena, Datto Vishnu Yogavit, Durvasha Shankarashyamsho, Nibodam Girisha Praja, Soma Abud Brahmano Amshena. So Som became the Amsha of Brahma, Dattatreya Vishnu's to Yogavit, who become a mystic. Durvasaha Sankarshana Shankarasya Amshaha. He became the Amsha of Shankara. Praja Niboda Angiris Prajaha. And then next is, you may hear from me about many sons of Angira. Yes. Please read, Mother.
Thereafter, from the partial representation of Brahma, the moon god was born of them. From the partial representation of Vishnu, the great mystic Dattatreya was born. And from the partial representation of Sankara, Lord Shiva, Durvasa was born. Now you may hear from me of the many sons of Angira.
So third daughter, Shraddhatva Angiris Patni Chatashro Kanyaka Sinivali Kurakha Chaturti Anumatistata. So third daughter of Devati, she was married to Angira. So who are the descendants? Their names are coming there. Please remember.
Angira's wife Shraddha gave birth to 4 daughters named Shinivali, Kuhu, Raka, and Anumati.
Tata Putra Apara Astam Kyathyo Swaru Chishe Antare Uttatyo Bhagavan Shakshat Brahmishtas Brahaspati. So Uttatyo Bhagavan Shakshat. Again Bhagavan appeared Uttatyo and then Brahaspati. There were the children born to them. 4 daughters and 2 children. Among them one was Bhagavan and then Brahaspati, the great sage. Yes.
Yes. Besides these 4 daughters, she also had another 2 sons. One of them was known as Uttaya and the other was learned scholar Brahaspati.
Uttatya and Brahaspati. Next. So Pulastyo Janayat Patnyam Agastyam Cha Havir Bhuvi. So Anya Janmani Bhag Agnir Vishwascha Mahatapa. Yes. Next, who wants to read? Please read. Next.
Pulastya begot in his wife Havirbhu, one of the name Agastya, who in his next birth became Daha, Dahara, Dahagra,
Bharagni.
Dharagni. Besides him, Pulasya begot another very great and saintly son, whose name was Vishrava.
Yes. So Havirbhu, I think this might be the fourth daughter, because this Pulasya thing is not coming to us. So it's a new section starting here. Yes, the fourth daughter of Devati. Havirbhu. Yes. तस्य यक्षपतिर्देवा कुबेरस्व इदवीरा सुता रावणा कुम्भकर्णस्य दतान्यास्यां विभीषणः.
Vishrava had two wives. The first wife was Idavida, from whom Kuvera, the master of all yakshas, was born, and the next wife was named Keshini, from whom three sons were born: Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and Vibhishana.
Yes. So this is that lineage of Brahmana. Therefore, it's called Ravana is known as Brahmana. Pulahasya gatir bharya trin asuta sati sutan karma shreshtam variyamsham sahishnum cha mahamate.
Gati, the wife of the sage Pulaha, gave birth to three sons named Karma Shrestha, Varian, and Sahishnu, and all of them were great sages.
Yes. Perfect.
Gati, the wife of Pulaha, was the fifth daughter of Kardam Muni. She was very faithful to her husband, and all her sons were as good as he.
Yes. The four daughters were one of fifth daughter. Gati, the wife of Pulaha, is the fifth daughter of Kardam Muni. She was very faithful to her husband, and all her sons were as good as he. Next. Kratorapi priya bharya valakilyan asuyata rishin shashti sahasrani jvalato brahma tejasa.
Kratu's wife Kriya gave birth to 60,000 great sages named the
Valakyas.
Valakyas. All these sages were greatly advanced in spiritual knowledge, and their bodies were illuminated by such knowledge. Kriya was the sixth.
Generally, yeah. Read Mataji, perfect read, and then kind of.
Kriya was the sixth daughter of Kardam Muni, and she produced 60,000 sages who were known as Valkiryas because they all retired from family life as Vanaprasthas.
So the description comes if you hear the history of Garuda, there Indra somehow he offends this Valakiryas, and the sages are of the size of thumb mentioned, the 60,000. And because of them, Indra gets a curse that one day he will be defeated. Your Amrit will be stolen by one personality. And that Valakiryas, they bless Garuda. And then Garuda goes and there is a lot of complex mechanism for protecting the Amrit, because his mother, Vanita, if she has to give up the slavery to her co-wife, the condition was he should bring Amrita. So there the section comes Valakiryas, because Indra had offended Valakiryas. Because of that, Garuda could trespass and get Amrit and win it and come back, and then later on became the what do you say? He could carry Lord Vishnu. He could become the vehicle of Lord Vishnu. So before Garuda's thing, this had happened past time. And that Kashyapa Muni had told to Garuda clearly. Urjayam jajine putra Vashishtasya parantapa chitraketu pradanaste shapta brahma rishayo mala.
The great sage Vasishta begot in his wife Urja, sometimes called Arundhati, 7 spotlessly great sages headed by the sage named Chitraketu.
Yes, Urja. Chitraketu Surocischa Viraja Mitraye Vacha Ulbano Vashubhradyanyo Yuman Shakti Adayo Pare. Next, someone that you want to read?
The name of these seven sages
Sachi
are as
Sundari
follows.
Mataji, you can read.
The names
Yeah.
of these seven
Sachin, bro, you have
sages.
read.
Correct.
Let Sachi Sundari Mataji read.
Okay. The names of these seven sages are as follows: Chitraketu, Surochi, Viraja, Mitra, Ulbana, Vasu, Bhradyana, and Dyuman. Some other very competent sons were born from Vasishta's other wife.
Perfect.
Urja, who is sometimes known as Arundhati and was the wife of Vasishta, was the ninth daughter of Kardama Muni.
Yes, Urja was the 9th daughter of Kardama Muni. So here ends the Kardama Muni's 9 daughters description. Chittistva Atar
Haribol.
Vana Patni Lebe Putram Dutta Vratam Dadyancham Asvashirasam Rugor Vamsha Nibodame. Yes, Rishi Kumar.
Roji, this Vashishta is that Vashishta Rishi, right?
Where? Here?
In the 41th.
Yeah, Urja was sometimes known as Arundhati and was the wife of Vashishta. I would check Prabhu because
The Rishi who comes in the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra. Is it like
yeah,
that?
yeah, I have to check it.
Okay, bro. Okay. Thank you.
Not clear about it. I'll let you know. Yes.
Yes. Chitti, the wife of sage Atharva, gave birth to a son named Ashvashira by accepting a great vow called the Dyoncha. Now you may hear from me about the descendants of the sage Bhrigu.
Purple.
Yeah. The wife of Atharva, known as Chitti, is also known as Shanti. She was the eighth daughter of Kardama Muni.
9th went and 8th came. 8 dot. Yes, 43. Okay. Yes. Dhruvo Katyam Mahabhaga Patnyam Putran Ajijanat Data Bhagavat Pranaparam.
The sage Bhrigu was highly fortunate. In his wife, known as Khyati, he begot two sons named Dhata and Vidata, and one daughter named Shri, who was very much devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes. Ayatim Niyatim Chaiva Sute Merustayoradat Tapyam Tayor Abhavatam Prakanda Pranaye Vacha.
The sage Meru had two daughters named Ayati and Niyati, whom he gave in charity to Dhata and Vidhata. Ayati and Niyati gave birth to two sons, Markanda and Prana. Mrukanda and Prana.
Markandayo Prakandasya Pranagveda Shira Muni Kavishcha Bhargavo Yasya Bhagavanu Shana Sutta.
From Mrukanda, Markandeya Muni was born, and from Prana, the sage Vedashira, whose son was Ushana Shukracharya, also known as Kavi. Thus, Kavi also belonged to the descendants of the Bhrigu dynasty.
Brahaspati is born and Shukracharya. Both are Devarishi and Asurishi. Whose son was Kavi. Tayetamunayo Sattar Lokan Sargairabhavayan Esha Kardamagauhatir Shantana Katitas Sava Shanvata Shaddanasya Sadhya Papa Hara Para Prashutim Manavim Daksha Upayeme Ajatmajaha. So now here this sloka concludes all the Devhutis and Kardam Muni's daughters, and now it begins with Prasuti and Daksha's, that lineage comes. So somebody else would like to read? You are not afraid. Last 7-8 minutes in the yes.
My dear Vidura, the population of the universe was thus increased by the descendants of these sages and the daughters of Kardama. Anyone who hears the descriptions of this dynasty with faith will be relieved from all sinful reactions. Another of Manu's daughters, known as Prasuti, married the son of Brahma named Daksha.
तस्यां सुसर्जतु विप्रा षोडाशमदशोचना त्रयोदशाशादधर्म्याय ततैकम् अग्नये विभो.
Daksha begot 16 very beautiful daughters with lotus-like eyes in his wife Prasuti. Of these 16 daughters, 13 were given in marriage to Dharma, and one daughter was given to Agni.
Yes. Big sloka, 1, 2, 3, 4 slokas. पितृभ्य एकमयुक्त्यभ्यो भव एकं भव चिदे श्रद्ध मैत्री दय शांति तुष्टि पुष्टि प्रियोनति बुद्धिर्मेध तितिक्षारि मूर्तिर्धर्मस्य पत्न्या श्रद्धा सुता शुभं मैत्री प्रसादम् अभयं दया शांति सुखं मुदं तुष्टि स्मयं पुष्टिर् असूयत योगं प्रियोनतिर्दर्पम् अर्थं बुद्धिर् असूयता मेधा स्मृतिं तितिक्षोतु क्षेमं ह्री प्रश्रयं सुतं मूर्ति सर्वगुणोत्पत्तिर् नर ऋषि. The list of Daksha's daughters and whom they were married and who were their children. Yes.
One of the remaining two daughters was given in charity to the Pitralok, where she resides very amicably, and the other was given to Lord Shiva, who is the deliverer of sinful persons from material entanglement. The names of the 13 daughters of Daksha who were given to Dharma are Shraddha, Maitri, Daya, Shanti, Tushti, Pushti, Kriya, Aneti, Buddhi,
Unnati.
Medha, Titiksha, Hari, and
Three.
Murti. These 13 daughters produced the following sons. Shraddha gave birth to Shubha. Maitri produced Prasad. Daya gave birth to Abhay. Shanti gave birth to Sukh. Tushti gave birth to Muda.
Muda.
Pushti gave birth to Samaya. Kriya gave birth to Yoga. Aneti gave birth to Darpa. Buddhi gave birth to Artha. Medha gave birth to Smriti. Titiksha gave birth to Kshema. And Ri gave birth to Prasarya. Murti, a reservoir of all respectable qualities, gave birth to Sri Narnarayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Daksha Prajapati's daughter's grandson is Narnarayan Rishi. Daksha Prajapati's grandson. Here, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur writes, Murti, a form of Suddha Sattva, should be understood to be a Shakti who manifests the Lord. So, Suddha Sattva. Yayorjanmani Ado Vishwam Abhaya Nandatasun Nirvatam Manamshi Kakubo Vataha Prashedo Sharitodhraya.
On the occasion of the appearance of Nar Narayana, the entire world was full of joy. Everyone's mind became tranquil, and thus, in all directions, the air, the rivers, and the mountains become pleasant.
मुझे आवाज नहीं आ रहा है. Hari bol.
Network issue.
Network से कैसे बोल रहे हैं?
This connection, I think we'll end here only now. Continue this tomorrow. Anybody has any comments, questions, or ask something, can ask. 2-3 minutes are there or we end. So finished. 53. We have to continue from 54 tomorrow. We have around 10 more verses. 8, 9 verses. Only 60 verses. 61, 60.
आपण लीव करायचं का झालं असेल तर क्लास
नेटचा प्रॉब्लेम आहे का
नेटवर्क इश्यू आहे